Hi everybody, I want to talk about this one movie. It's a TV film. I think it was first shown on Lifetime and probably switched over to LNN at some point. So it's called When Husbands Cheat, like in the title, and it stars Patricia Kalember, Kalember, and co-stars Tom Irwin and Brenda Vaccaro. Okay. So I'm familiar with Tom Irwin because he played the father in My So-Called Life. Another great, actually really underrated teen drama from about 1994. It only lasted 1 year because it could never get the traction. So, and it starred Claire Danes before she was Claire Danes. Like famous, and Jared Leto. Okay. So in this movie, the main characters are let's see, Tess McCall and Craig McCall. Only when they name them, they put the Craig in quotes. So yeah, and then Sally Russell is played by Brenda Vaccaro. Okay. So the interesting part about this is that apparently I'm not entirely sure if this was the aim of the movie, but it shows the odds of having infidelity in different families because Tess has a sister Denise, and it turns out her sister Denise thinks her husband is cheating on her, so then Tess becomes like a private investigator ish to help her sister catch her husband. Okay, and she starts helping out the police or something, and then it morphs into a career of private investigation for other people. In the midst of all this, also turns out that her husband, first of all, because I'm kind of a detective in my own right, as far as like body language and stuff, I talked about this many times. So when she talks about the main character talks about how she might be working for the police, um, her husband is not too thrilled about it, and I said, "Oh, that should have been the first sign," because my theory is, and this has always been my theory, if you have nothing to hide, then you have nothing to fear. Like you're not thinking about, oh, what are they going to catch? What are they going to find? Because there's nothing to find. Okay. So the fact that he was so anti her having this job, at first I thought it was just that he wanted to be the provider of the household and something like that. But then he was so resistant. I'm like, no, there's something deeper. And then turns out I was right, but it comes out later in the film, and I mean later, because, well, it's kind of a progressive movie, actually, and you have to watch the whole thing for it to make sense, you know? Okay, so first he's skeptical, right? Then she finds letters in the trunk of his car, like connected to a personal ad. So then he BS's her and tells her that it's part of his job to be in a sting like that. Okay? And she believes him because she doesn't think she has anything to be worried about. And then it turns out that he's been having infidelity affairs, whatever, for years and years and years. And but it unravels over the 2 hours. It's just fascinating. And then, well, fascinating and yet sad, you know, because, well, this may be old fashioned of me, but I think once you're in a relationship and definitely a marriage, you should be able to trust your partner. And I'm not saying that like in a naive way. I'm just saying that you shouldn't be so suspicious of everything your partner does. But the way some people are, you kind of have to have that little voice in your head and listen to it. And the thing is that I call it, of course, intuition. But it's that little voice that just knows what's right and wrong. But some people turn it off, and then that's when you get duped. So. But it is an interesting uh, film, even if you don't go into the psychological underpinnings of it. Yeah. So check it out. I mean, if you have 2 hours to spare and you just like it's a rainy day or something, you might want to check it out. Okay, bye everybody.